Hello and welcome. I'm Dr. Robert Clark. Today we need to have a serious conversation about two of the hardest working organs in your body, your kidneys. And we need to talk about your mornings. I want to start with a number that I find deeply concerning. According to the CDC, 1 in 3 adults in the United States is at risk for developing kidney disease. That's more than 90 million people. Let that sink in. In a room with just 3 people, one of you is likely at risk. The most frightening part? Most people have no idea. Kidney disease is often called a silent killer because it can progress for years without any noticeable symptoms, until one day, it's a crisis. I've seen this crisis unfold more times than I can count in my decades of practice. It's a journey of fatigue, fluid retention, high blood pressure, and eventually, the life-altering reality of dialysis. But what if I told you that for many this path isn't inevitable? What if the real battlefield for your kidney health isn't in a hospital, but at your breakfast table, in your bathroom cabinet, and even in your bed while you sleep? Let me tell you about a patient of mine. Let's call him George. George was 65, a retired mechanic who prided himself on his toughness. He came to see me because his wife insisted. He was just feeling a little run down, he said. His ankles were a bit puffy at the end of the day, but he figured that was just from being on his feet. He was also getting up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom, but he chalked that up to just getting older. He wasn't in any pain. He felt, for the most part, fine. But his wife was worried. We ran some simple blood and urine tests, and the results were a shock to him. His kidneys were functioning at less than 40%. He was in stage 3 chronic kidney disease and heading toward stage 4. George was looking at a future he never imagined, one tethered to a machine. His normal morning habits, a quick bowl of sugary cereal, a couple of cups of black coffee, and his blood pressure pill whenever he remembered, were, in fact, quiet aggressors against his own body. He thought he was fine, but his body was sending out warning signals he didn't know how to read. You are not alone in this. So many of my patients express the same surprise, the same fear. They don't understand how this could have happened. The good news, and I always want you to hear this from me, is that there is so much good news here. Knowledge is power, and proactive steps can make a profound difference. Your daily routines, especially those first few hours after you wake up, hold the key to either straining your kidneys or protecting them. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the most common and most damaging morning mistakes I see seniors make. More importantly, I'll give you simple, practical, and evidence-based changes you can make starting tomorrow. So I want you to ask yourself honestly, are your mornings a friend or a foe to your kidneys? Let's find out together. All right, let's dive into the first, and perhaps most common mistake I see. Starting the day with a high-sodium breakfast. In our modern, fast-paced world, convenience is king, especially in the morning. A frozen breakfast sandwich, a bowl of instant-flavored oatmeal, a couple of sausage patties, they're quick, they're easy, and they are often loaded with sodium. You might not even taste it, but your kidneys feel it, every single time. Let me tell you about a patient of mine, Sarah. She's a lovely woman of 72 who came to me complaining that her blood pressure just wouldn't come down, no matter how many medications her previous doctor prescribed. She was also incredibly frustrated by the swelling in her ankles. By the end of the day, the imprint of her socks was deeply etched into her skin. When we did a diet diary, the culprit became crystal clear. Her breakfast was either 2 slices of toast from a standard loaf of bread, which can have over 300 milligrams of sodium, or on weekends, a couple of processed sausage links, which can pack over 500 milligrams. She was starting her day with a massive sodium hit before she even had lunch. Here's the science behind why this is so damaging, and I want you to picture this clearly. Think of your kidneys as a set of incredibly fine, delicate filters, like a coffee filter made of the most fragile mesh. Their job is to filter your entire blood supply many times a day. When you consume excess sodium, your body holds onto extra water to dilute it. This increases the total volume of fluid in your bloodstream. Now, imagine forcing more water through that delicate filter at a much higher pressure. That's exactly what happens inside your body. This elevated blood pressure pounds against the tiny filtering units in your kidneys, called glomeruli. Over time, this constant pressure damages and scars them, making them less effective. It's like using a pressure washer on a delicate window screen. Eventually, you tear holes in it. This damage is often permanent. The good news is that you can turn this around, starting with one meal. I'm not asking you to eat bland, boring food. I'm asking you to make a smart swap. Instead of that instant oatmeal packet, try steel-cut oats. Cook them with a pinch of cinnamon and a handful of blueberries. The fiber will keep you full, the antioxidants in the berries fight inflammation, and the cinnamon can help regulate blood sugar. Instead of processed meat, try 2 eggs scrambled with some spinach and a sprinkle of black pepper. You get high-quality protein and vitamins without the flood of sodium and preservatives. So I want you to ask yourself, what did you have for breakfast this morning? Can you picture the salt that was already in the food long before it reached your plate? Now let's move to the second major mistake, which often goes hand in hand with the first, skipping your morning hydration. So many of my patients, like my patient Bill, reach for the coffee pot before they even think about a glass of water. Bill was 68 and constantly complained of fatigue and a sort of brain fog he couldn't shake. He was convinced it was just his age. His morning routine was 2 strong mugs of black coffee, and he might have his first glass of water around lunchtime. After sleeping for 6 to 8 hours, your body is naturally dehydrated. You've been losing water all night through breathing and perspiration. When you wake up in this dehydrated state and don't replenish with water, you force your kidneys to work with a thick, concentrated sludge of waste products. Remember that delicate filter analogy? If you pour thick, syrupy fluid through it, the filter clogs and has to work much harder. This concentrated urine, full of waste products like urea, is the perfect environment for crystals to form, leading to painful kidney stones. Furthermore, chronic dehydration puts a constant, low-level stress on the kidneys that, over years, can contribute to a decline in function. The coffee you drink first thing actually makes it worse. Coffee is a diuretic, meaning it signals your kidneys to flush out more water, potentially leaving you even more dehydrated than when you started. The fix for this is incredibly simple, and it's what I call the water first rule. Before your feet hit the floor in the morning, drink 1 full 8-ounce glass of water. Keep it on your nightstand, so it's the first thing you see. This simple act rehydrates your system, helps flush out the toxins that built up overnight, and prepares your kidneys for the day ahead. It gives them the fluid they need to do their job efficiently. Have you noticed how much clearer you think after that first glass of water? That's not a coincidence. You're rehydrating your brain too. So, my second question for you is this. What is the very first liquid that passes your lips in the morning? Is it truly hydrating you, or is it starting your day in a fluid deficit? Now we move on to the third morning mistake, and this one is subtle but critically important, especially for the millions of seniors who take daily medications. The mistake is not about what you take, but when and how you take it. Timing is everything. I had a patient, Eleanor, a wonderfully diligent woman who never missed a dose of her prescribed medications for blood pressure and arthritis. Her routine was to wake up and swallow them all at once with a small sip of water before having her coffee. For months, she'd been plagued by dizzy spells, especially when she stood up too quickly. She assumed it was just a side effect she had to live with. What was actually happening was a cascade of events stressing her system. She was taking her diuretic and blood pressure pill on a naturally dehydrated morning body. This caused her blood pressure to drop too sharply, leading to the dizziness and reducing vital blood flow to her kidneys. At the same time, she was taking an NSAID, a non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug like ibuprofen or naproxen, for her arthritis. These drugs, while excellent for pain, can be very hard on the kidneys if taken without enough water. Let's look at the science here because it's fascinating and vital to understand. First, the blood pressure medications. When you take a diuretic or another antihypertensive on an empty, dehydrated system, you can cause hypotension or low blood pressure. Your kidneys require a certain amount of pressure to be perfused, meaning to get the steady supply of blood they need to filter waste. When the pressure drops too low, it's like turning down the water supply to your garden to a mere trickle. The plants, or in this case your kidney cells, don't get the nourishment they need. Now, for the NSAIDs. These medications work by blocking enzymes called COX enzymes to reduce inflammation. But in the process, they also block certain prostaglandins that are responsible for keeping the small arteries that feed the kidneys wide open. When you take an NSAID without enough water to help flush it through your system, it can cause those arteries to constrict. Think of it as pinching the hose that's watering your delicate kidney tissue. Done once, it's probably fine. Done every single morning for years, you are risking cumulative damage and a condition called acute kidney injury. The solution here is not to change your medication schedule on your own. I must be very clear about that. The solution is to start a conversation with your doctor or pharmacist. Ask them these specific questions. Given my health, is the morning the absolute best time for me to take this medication? Should I be taking this with a full meal, or is a large glass of water enough? Are any of my over-the-counter pain relievers interacting with my prescriptions in a way that could harm my kidneys? Look at your pill box. Was that routine designed with your kidney health in mind, or is it just about convenience? Let's move to the fourth mistake, ignoring nocturia. That's the medical term for waking up frequently during the night to urinate. This is one of the most commonly dismissed symptoms I encounter. I'll hear it all the time from patients like Frank, who told me, "Doc, I'm up 3, sometimes 4 times a night, but that's just part of being 70, right?" I need you to hear me on this. While it is more common with age, it is not necessarily normal, and it can be a critical early warning sign from your kidneys. In a healthy person, your brain releases something called anti-diuretic hormone, or ADH, while you sleep. This hormone's job is to tell your kidneys to slow down urine production and concentrate it, allowing you to sleep for 6 to 8 hours uninterrupted. When this system breaks down, it's often for one of 2 kidney-related reasons. First, the kidneys themselves may be damaged and can no longer respond effectively to the signal from ADH. They simply can't concentrate the urine, so they continue to produce large amounts of dilute urine all night long, filling your bladder and waking you up. Second, it can be a sign of fluid overload. If you've had a high-sodium dinner, your body is working overtime at night to get rid of the excess salt and the water it's holding on to. Your kidneys are in overdrive. This is your body's check engine light coming on, signaling that something is out of balance. Frank had accepted his interrupted sleep as fate. He never thought to mention it as a symptom. When we investigated, we found it was directly linked to his diet and declining kidney function. The first practical step is simply awareness. For 1 week, keep a notepad by your bed. When you get up, note the time. Is it once a night? 4 times? Bring that log to your doctor. It is valuable data, and as we've discussed, front-load your hydration. Drink plenty of water during the day, but try to limit your fluid intake for the 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Have you accepted waking up at night as your new normal? I'm asking you to start thinking of it not as an inconvenience, but as a direct message from your kidneys. We've arrived at our 5th and final morning mistake, and this one might surprise you because it begins the night before. It's about your sleep position. It seems almost too simple to be true. But the way you position your body for those 6, 7, or 8 hours of rest can have a direct and measurable impact on how well your kidneys function. Most people have never given it a moment's thought, but I want you to start thinking about it tonight. Let me tell you about my patient, Margaret. I mentioned her briefly before. Margaret was 69, diagnosed with early-stage kidney disease, and she was what I'd call a model patient. She meticulously tracked her sodium, she drank her water, she took her medications perfectly. But for months, her numbers were stuck. Her GFR, that key measure of kidney function, just wouldn't budge. She was getting frustrated, and honestly, so was I. We went over her diet, her exercise, everything. Finally, during one visit, I asked her, "Margaret, how do you sleep?" She looked at me, puzzled, and said, "What do you mean?" "I sleep on my back. I always have. It's the most comfortable." And right there, we found our missing piece of the puzzle. Here is the science, and it's a beautiful piece of human anatomy. The largest vein in your body is called the inferior vena cava. Its job is to carry all the blood from the lower half of your body back up to your heart. This major vessel runs along the right side of your spine. When you sleep flat on your back, the weight of your organs can press down and slightly compress this massive vein. The same thing can happen if you sleep on your right side. Now, you may not feel it, but this subtle compression acts like stepping lightly on a garden hose. It reduces the flow. When blood flow back to the heart is reduced, the heart can't pump out as much blood with each beat. And where is a primary destination for that freshly pumped blood? Your kidneys. A slight reduction in blood flow to the kidneys, hour after hour, night after night, means they aren't being perfused as well as they could be. They have less blood to filter and less oxygen to do their work. Over the long term, this can contribute to stress and a decline in function. So, what's the solution? It's as simple as turning over. When you sleep on your left side, you take all the pressure off the vena cava. Gravity helps blood flow freely back to the heart. A heart that receives more blood can pump more blood, meaning a robust, healthy supply gets sent to your kidneys, allowing them to do their job with maximum efficiency all night long. As a bonus, this position also aids lymphatic drainage. Your body's lymphatic system, which is crucial for clearing waste and fluid, drains primarily into the thoracic duct on your left side. Sleeping on this side can literally help your body take out the trash more effectively. Now, I can hear you thinking, "Dr. Clark, I've been a back sleeper for 60 years. There's no way I can change. I understand that. It's a deeply ingrained habit. But you can train your body. And here's how. Use pillows strategically. First, place a firm pillow between your knees. This aligns your hips and spine and makes side sleeping much more comfortable. Second, hug a pillow. This supports your top shoulder and prevents you from curling forward. And third, and this is the most important trick, place a large, firm pillow or a body pillow right behind your back. This creates a physical barrier that prevents you from unconsciously rolling onto your back in the middle of the night. Margaret was skeptical, but she tried it. It felt awkward for the first week, but she stuck with it. The payoff was astonishing. At her 3-month checkup, her GFR had improved. Not from a new drug, but from a new sleep position. So, my question to you is this. What position did you wake up in this morning? Have you ever considered that this simple habit could be helping or hindering your kidneys all night long? All right, let's roll up our sleeves and get practical. We've talked about why high-sodium breakfasts are a problem. Now let AS build a truly kidney-friendly morning meal from the ground up. This is where you take back control. It's not about deprivation. It's about making smarter, more delicious choices that actively protect your health. I want you to think of your breakfast as the first and best opportunity of the day to either soothe inflammation and lower your blood pressure or to aggravate it. The choice is yours, and I'm going to make it easy. Let's start with one of the most common breakfast foods, oatmeal. On the surface, it's a healthy choice, but the food industry has found a way to turn it into a vessel for salt and sugar. Picture that box of individual maple and brown sugar instant oatmeal packets. It's quick, yes, but turn that box over. You will likely see over 250 milligrams of sodium and 12 grams of sugar in one small serving. It's a trap, disguised as a health food. Now, let me paint you a different picture. A bowl of hearty, minimally processed steel-cut or old-fashioned rolled oats. This is your canvas. Instead of cooking it with salt, you cook it with water or unsweetened almond milk. Instead of a packet of sugar, you top it with a handful of fresh or frozen blueberries. These berries are packed with antioxidants that fight cellular damage throughout your body, including in your kidneys. Instead of salt for flavor, you sprinkle on some cinnamon, a wonderful spice that has been shown to help regulate blood sugar, a critical factor for kidney health, especially if you have or are at risk for diabetes. For some crunch and healthy fats, add a tablespoon of walnuts, which are rich in omega-3s that help combat inflammation. This breakfast is delicious. It will keep you full for hours, and every single ingredient is actively working for you. Next, let's tackle the protein predicament. A savory breakfast is a satisfying way to start the day. But it's also a minefield of sodium and another harmful compound, phosphates. Processed meats like bacon, sausage, and ham are loaded with inorganic phosphate additives, which are used as preservatives and flavor enhancers. Unlike the natural phosphorus in whole foods, these additives are almost completely absorbed by your body. For healthy kidneys, this isn't a huge issue. But for kidneys that are already struggling, clearing this excess phosphorus is an enormous burden. High phosphorus levels in the blood can pull calcium from your bones and cause dangerous calcification in your blood vessels, heart, and skin. The smart swap here is simple: eggs. An egg is nature's perfect protein package. You can scramble them with some chopped bell peppers and onions for extra vitamins, poach them, or hard-boil a few ahead of time for a quick grab-and-go breakfast. You get high-quality protein with minimal sodium and virtually no harmful additives. To make this even simpler, I want to give you my doctor's checklist for a kidney-safe breakfast. When you're at the grocery store, mentally run through this list. 1. Is the sodium low? Look for less than 140 milligrams per serving on the label. 2. Is the added sugar low? Aim for less than 5 grams. Natural sugar from fruit doesn't count. 3. Is the fiber high? Look for 3 grams or more. 4. Is the protein unprocessed? Think eggs, plain yogurt, nuts, and seeds, not meats from a package. Let me teach you how to be a label detective. My favorite shortcut is the 5-20 rule. Look at the percent daily value column on the nutrition label. If a nutrient like sodium is 5% or less, that's considered low. If it's 20% or more, it's high. Always aim for foods in that 5% or less zone for sodium. You'll be shocked at what you find. A healthy bran cereal can have 15% of your daily sodium, while the plain shredded wheat right next to it has 0%. It's about making that informed choice. After you watch this video, I want you to do something for me. Go to your pantry, pick one breakfast item, and read the label. What secrets does it hold? We've covered food and sleep, so let's circle back to the most fundamental element of all: water. We established the water-first rule: 1 glass of water before anything else in the morning. But now let's get more strategic. Because for optimal kidney health, it's not just about how much water you drink, but when you drink it. The key concept I want you to embrace is front-loading your hydration. This means your goal should be to consume the majority of your daily water intake during your most active hours, roughly from the time you wake up until about 6 or 7 p.m. Think of it like this. Managing your body's daily waste products is like managing a kitchen. It's much easier and more efficient to clean up small spills and wash dishes as you go throughout the day. If you let everything pile up and then try to tackle a mountain of greasy pots and pans right before you go to bed, it's an overwhelming task. Front-loading your water intake is the clean as you go approach for your kidneys. You're giving them a steady supply of fluid to efficiently filter out toxins and waste during the day when your body is producing them. When you try to catch up by chugging 3 or 4 glasses of water late at night, you're creating that mountain of dirty dishes. You're putting a massive workload on your kidneys right at the time when they and the rest of your body are supposed to be entering a cycle of rest and repair. This one strategic shift, drinking plenty of water from morning to early evening and then tapering off, is the most powerful tool you have to combat the nighttime urination or nocturia that we discussed earlier. It allows you to stay fully hydrated while giving your kidneys and your bladder a much-needed break overnight, leading to deeper, more restorative sleep. While we're on the topic of what you drink in the morning, we must have a quick but crucial word on supplements. So many of my patients, in an effort to be healthy, take a variety of vitamins and herbal supplements with their morning water. While the intention is good, the results can sometimes be harmful. For example, while vitamin C is an important antioxidant, extremely high doses from supplements can increase oxalate levels in your urine, which can contribute to the formation of kidney stones in people who are susceptible. Furthermore, many herbal supplements are not regulated by the FDA, and their exact effects on kidney function can be unknown or even dangerous. My golden rule for you is this: never start a new vitamin or herbal remedy without first having a conversation with your doctor or your pharmacist. Your kidneys are responsible for filtering everything you consume. Don't add a new, unknown substance to their workload without professional guidance. Now, I want to tie all these concepts together by telling you more about Carol's story. It's a journey that perfectly illustrates the profound power of these simple, daily changes. When Carol, 68, first sat in my office, she had stage 3 chronic kidney disease, and her GFR was a precarious 45. The path to dialysis felt frighteningly close. She was constantly exhausted. Her ankles were so swollen that her shoes felt tight and painful, and she confessed that she felt like her world was shrinking. Her old routine was typical: a processed, salty breakfast, maybe 1 or 2 glasses of water all day, and over-the-counter pain relievers for her arthritis taken whenever the pain struck. We didn't prescribe a new miracle drug. Instead, we designed a new morning routine. She embraced the kidney-friendly oatmeal I described earlier. She put a large, marked water bottle on her kitchen counter, making hydration a visible, all-day goal. She swapped her weekend bacon for scrambled eggs with spinach. We talked to her rheumatologist to find a pain management plan that was safer for her kidneys. She started using the pillow trick to sleep on her left side. The results were not a lightning strike, they were a slow, steady dawn. After 8 weeks, her blood pressure had dropped by 10 points. The painful swelling in her ankles was completely gone. But the number that truly mattered, the one that brought tears to her eyes, was her GFR. We rechecked her blood work, and it had climbed from 45 to 52. Did this cure her? No. But it slammed the brakes on the disease's progression. It gave her back energy, control, and a future that felt bright again. It proved that you are the most powerful person in the room when it comes to your own health. We have covered a tremendous amount of ground together, and I know it can feel like a lot to take in. So let's bring it all home. My goal has never been to overwhelm you, but to empower you. Knowledge is only powerful when it's put into action, so I want to distill everything we've discussed into a simple, practical plan that you can start using the moment you wake up tomorrow. This is your starting line. These are the 5 simple changes that will begin to shift the tide in your favor, protecting your kidneys for all the years to come. First, the water. First rule: before your feet even touch the floor, drink 1 full 8-ounce glass of water that you placed on your nightstand the evening before. This single act wakes up your entire system, rehydrates your body and brain after a long night, and gives your kidneys the essential tool they need to begin their day's work of flushing out toxins. Make it non-negotiable. Second, the breakfast swap. I am not asking you to overhaul your entire diet overnight. Just start with one thing. Look at your typical breakfast and identify the most likely source of high sodium. Is it the bread, the processed cereal, the sausage? Tomorrow, swap just that one item for a whole food alternative we've discussed. An egg, some plain oats, a piece of fruit. That's it. This small victory will build the momentum you need for lasting change. Third, the medication check-in. This requires no immediate change, only a question. Look at your medications. At your very next doctor's appointment, I want you to ask, is the timing of these medications optimal for my long-term kidney health? It's a simple question that shows you are an active partner in your care. It may change nothing, or it could be one of the most important questions you ever ask. Fourth, the sleep position trial. Tonight, I challenge you to an experiment. Try sleeping on your left side. Arrange your pillows for support, as we discussed. 1 between the knees, 1 to hug, and 1 behind your back to prevent rolling over. It will likely feel unfamiliar, but think of it as a gentle, all-night therapy session for your kidneys and your entire circulatory system. Give your body a chance to adapt to this healthier position. And fifth, the Nocturia log. If you are someone who gets up more than once a night to use the bathroom, your task is simple. Start the log tonight. A small notepad and a pen on your nightstand. Each time you get up, simply write down the time. After a week, you will have a clear pattern. This is not a diary of your annoyance. It is valuable data to share with your healthcare provider. These habits are your shield and your support, but they are not a substitute for medical care. You must know the red flag warning signs that require you to call your doctor. If you experience new or worsening swelling in your legs, ankles, or even your hands and face, this is called edema, and it's a major signal. If you feel a deep, persistent fatigue that rest doesn't fix. If you notice a significant change in your urination, it's foamy, it contains blood, or the frequency has changed dramatically. If you experience a loss of appetite or a strange metallic taste in your mouth. Please hear me when I say this. These are not normal signs of aging. They are urgent messages. Your body is talking to you. It's your responsibility to listen. In the end, it all comes down to this. You are not a passive bystander in the story of your health. You are the author of the next chapter. For your convenience, we have created a downloadable morning kidney health checklist that summarizes these key points, and the link is in the description below. Print it out, put it on your refrigerator, and let it be your guide. Your kidneys work tirelessly for you every minute of every day. They are resilient, but they need your help. Give them a fighting chance. Start with 1 glass of water tomorrow. You have the power to make a profound difference. I'm Dr. Robert Clark. Thank you for your time and be well.